We saw blue, and they watched us. Wild feet and all inside the body moved. We saw blue.
Hey, I'm Emily.
I'm Kate.
I'm Lydia.
And I'm Maddie.
And this is Following Ley Line,
a podcast,
an invitation
to explore the world through music.
The graces, wild feet and all inside the body move.
Well, for this episode of Following Ley Line, I thought we should talk about our album We Saw Blue that just came out and the story behind the song. But to get everyone a little hyped up, Maddie's already hyped. She's drinking wine. I wanted to play you guys these voice memos from my friend Adam in LA because they're just so sweet. Made me want to cry. Okay, here you go.
Dude, I just want to say I love the album so much. God, dude, just sonically, it's so fucking refreshing to hear, like, dope bass and, like, trumpets. And, dude, you know what? On that note, I was also going to say that why this is such a refreshing album is because, you know, all the Mr. Gosh that's coming out today is all about, like, fucking love songs and breakups and shit and, like, about people. But this was sick because it's about, like, love songs for, like, the world. And, like, I can't think of many, like, modern day, like, artists that, like, actually, like, make odes to the earth.
Oh, gosh.
But I feel like
Anyways,
That's very sweet.
I was like, yes, hit the nail on the head.
Wow.
It's so sweet when, like, to get that reflection that people get it. Like, that the message is coming across and the intention is coming across.
I think for so long since we've been kind of like releasing these songs and these episodes kind of one by one, that now that it's all out in its entirety, it feels like it's taken on a whole new life. And I loved what you said, Lydia. Like when we released it, it was like, wow, it feels like these songs are new again. You know, like how people were like, they've been out for a while, but somehow when they're in this like complete form, it fits in the context of what we're trying to say. So it's kind of like we've been releasing these like little snapshots, and now everyone is getting to see the whole movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought for this episode it would be sweet to talk about the decision behind naming the album We Saw Blue and even including We Saw Blue in the album, because I think we weren't always planning to do that.
I'm trying to remember when we decided to put it in the album.
Because we didn't even used to play it. Like, I'm trying to remember if it became intentional to play the song. Like, it was always an impulsive thing, like, this show was so special, let's play that song that we never play, that we haven't arranged, let's just, like, do it, you know? Like, it had to be a certain vibe.
Every time we sang it, it was different. That song allowed us to change and try something new and not be, like, held down by the music, but instead, like, let it be this expansive thing.
We kept kind of singing it and coming back to the fact that the words really speak to just the emotional beings that we are and the way that we find connection. And
one thing that I kind of want to give some special backstory to, because I wrote this poem a while ago. I don't remember exactly when, but back when we could go see live music. So Maddie and Emily were both living in Austin at the time, and I would go out and listen to music at the Elephant Room. And the Elephant Room is this kind of like basement bar. And I remember, and I would drink, you know, get like a glass of whiskey and take my sketchbook and my journal and just kind of like go hang by myself. And this one night, Ephraim Owens was playing. I wrote this poem. it just kind of poured out of me. It was kind of a stream of consciousness poem, but there was this like amazing blue light shining on him, and how passionately he was playing, and just how like it was only him and the sound. It was only him and the music. And I then gave that poem to a friend of mine. They'd come up with this idea to like do this kind of telephone of creative ideas. I gave him the poem and I was like, I'd love to see what this brings out for you. Would you create a drawing for it? And he drew this woman holding a child being bathed in blue light. And it was this like simple, kind of sketch, line drawing. And then once I saw that, then this melody just appeared. And it was do 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 do. And I started kind of putting the lyrics towards that melody. And it was a song that I would kind of like sing in the shower or while I was walking. It wasn't until me, Emily, and Maddie did a retreat in Wimberley just to experiment with sound and singing and harmony that I slowed it down and really we were all really, really listening to each other. And this magic happened of everything coming together, and it was like, this is the way this song is supposed to exist, is with these luscious harmonies, and it was all really intuitive, but it just kind of clicked. And so we always use that as like this magic moment, right, to kind of bring us back to that first instance when we really kind of let go of any agenda. It wasn't like, oh, this song needs to sound like this, or oh, what if you try singing that? And it was just kind of like this supernatural moment.
So blue, he's so blue, he's so blue, and they washed wild feet and all inside their body blue. He's so blue, and they watched us. Wild feet and all inside the body move.
And that was kind of a fundamental piece of the formation of the group, where we were like, whoa, this is very, very special. We should keep doing whatever this is.
To the graves, wild feet and all inside.
And so when we would play these shows where we like really tune in and connect to like, one, where we're playing, who we're playing for, what's the energy that's being created, it was always kind of saved for these special moments. But then we decided to put it on the album.
Wild feet and all inside the body move.
It reminds me of how time just allows those like seeds of songs to marinate. And so when it came around to the beginning of 2020, and we had just kind of finalized that We Saw Blue would be a great album name, and it kind of felt like a full circle song that's been with us through all these years. And So we created some chords and played it at Stubbs. And, 2 months later, we're at the recording academy and recorded it to the hill country facing this beautiful, beautiful valley. And then got news that everybody's world would pretty much be turned upside down. And so it kind of became that symbol of, I know blues symbolizes so many things, but since this album was so focused on water and finding that inner calm and knowing that that all exists within you, that blue just somehow felt kind of like a color that could speak to a lot of different strength within.
I remember being in Brazil and being like, what are we going to name this album? And then everyone was kind of like, oh, Manta Azul, duh. And then being like, oh, we saw blue, duh. That was so the theme of that journey, protection, and just this image of the security of the blue and just how seamlessly that fell into everything that we'd already created. Like it felt so special and also so effortless to connect it back to that poem that was kind of the origin of the band in some ways.
I love that because we just kind of got to reconnect with that inspiration of the Manta Azul, or the blue aura, with Thelma. And she was kind of the introduction of this idea of the Manta Azul to protect us not only on our journey through Brazil and our tour through Brazil, but as kind of like a consistent theme in life, the power of blue.
About a week ago, we decided to call Selma and get this audio recording of her talking about the Manta Azul. And that's become the start of the visual album.
It's cool because in some ways I was like, wow, I feel like this changed everything. Yeah, it's a completely different feel. Like in some ways it's really intimate. It's like someone speaking to us. It made it all make sense of this is a story that we're telling about our connection to nature and the way that we find our self-discovery and deeper spirituality. Because I think the way that she is speaking about like the planet is just so powerful at the beginning.
Você já pensou que tudo é energia? E que se vivemos num planeta maravilhoso, um planeta azul.
We are the planet of water. We are the planet of blue.
Terra, planeta, água.
Blue, that color, that aura has the power to move you and guide you and protect you.
Blue is the great connector. We're all connected by oceans and rivers and the way that water cycles through the earth and moves through us, and the reminder that we are one world in this together.
O manto azul, ele forma um campo de energia poderoso de harmonia e proteção. E cada vez que você imagina e coloca em si esse manto azul, você reforça mentalmente essa proteção.
And so while it served a lot for this like individual protection and this individual kind of solace, right, to seek comfort in knowing that, we are guided on our journey just like rivers guided to the ocean, but also knowing that we, being Ley Line, also includes everyone who listens to this music. It includes you listening to this podcast right now. That when we are performing, when we're creating, when we're channeling all of this beautiful creative energy that exists in nature, in relationships, inside ourselves, that we're always thinking of what brings us together. How can we find harmony in this life and celebrate where there's dissonance and continue to move towards that which brings us together. That can be water, but it could be anything, really. It's just kind of that idea of like an anchor that keeps you feeling connected both to the earth and to something greater.
So I felt like today would be nice to talk about We Saw Blue because the album just came out and it's the title track. But this is one song off of the B-side of our vinyl. If you were to purchase the vinyl, I've been listening to a lot of vinyl these last couple months. And what I love about vinyl is that it's like an experience where you put it on and you don't really go anywhere. You just like soak in the music for 15 minutes or whatever it is, 20 minutes. And then you have to be there because when the side ends, it just keeps spinning and then you got to flip it. And it's just a really special way to take in music. And we're really excited about our vinyl. We worked really hard on really making it feel like this complete work of art. The music, the photo, the poetry, the lyrics are translated. It's like a way to get closer to the music.
The vinyl We Saw Blue can be pre-ordered on our website, and that's leylinesound.com.
On the next episode of Following Ley Line, we're going to talk about our song Sereia, a traditional folk song from the northeast of Brazil.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can dive deeper into the songs and get an exclusive premiere of our visual album dropping May 14th. And remember, we're always just a message away on Instagram at Ley Line Sound.